It's been consecutively average days. Like nothing interesting has occurred, most plans fallen through, acne up, crops unwatered. And it gets you pretty down because you work hard constantly and you have nothing really to show for it. And it's like, boy. But the cool thing that I'm realizing is that if I do not give up, I do not lose. Like, that is the definitive truth. It's like getting shredded up by a combine harvester, and you're in the thing and you're just getting, but instead of coming out the other side a bunch of shredded bits of organic matter, you just remain inside the shredder, completely fine. You're just like, whoa. You're bouncing your head back and forth because you choose not to give up. That's so random. But you should be dead. You should have lost. But you can just remain in there and stay in there for such an amount of time that you get spat out and you're actually fine. And in fact, you're better than fine. You've made it. You can go anywhere. And I'm recognizing that's where I'm at. It's tough, but I know that 6 months in versus 1 month in versus 10 years in is going to yield insane benefits for the rest of my life. But until I'm there, I'm just in the combine harvester. It's trying to shred me up, but I refuse to let it. So the investment opportunity more or less failed, which I wasn't putting a whole lot of stock on that, but it did make me realize that I do want to get out of my current 9 to 5 as quickly as possible. So I'm devising a plan to make as much side money as possible by offloading work to others so I can get passive income, which maybe I should have done that this whole time, so that I can eventually spend, I think what would be a good compromise is have 3 months worth of monies saved up so that I can go all in for 3 months. And then after the 3 months is over, if I don't make any money or I don't hit a certain quota, I then go back to working a regular job. Hormozi put out a video yesterday, and it was all the failures that he made, and he talked about how when he had just finished his degree and was a consultant, 9 months in, he just sat back and was like, he was just read all day. He was reading books all day, and he was like, this is it. And he said in his video, if that's you right now, run, get out of there. Now I know obviously there's a lot of caveats in that you need to adjust for risk and things like that. And that you should say like 6 months of full blah, blah, blah. The thing is that I think I could easily get a job at any point or even return to my employer because I know him personally. He's my uncle. And so I think it would initially like sully the relationship, but I have to, like, every fiber of my being has to get out of this. And I have to do something. And if it was just this unbelievably risky practice that I did for 3 months, throwing myself at the wall, 12, 15-hour days, sacrificing absolutely everything, and I make it, I will see that as the inflection point for the rest of my life. And like when I put it in those terms, and I'm talking like the next 50 years, I'm like, I couldn't do it sooner. I'm in a very fortunate position because I never mentioned this, but I actually live with my wife's parents. And so the way it works is we have like a separate attachment to the house, but I've been living there for 4 years, which is like, that's the game. You have to do what you can. So I'm in a fortunate position where I can be a little risky, and I have 2 children, but I owe it to everyone. Like, I know this will work if I can just put in a disproportionate amount of time. And I haven't been able to do that. I'm giving it half-baked time, and we've yielded results. But 3 months seems like a really strong showing. Like, I could make money, some type of money in 3 months. Even if it's not the amount that I'm initially wanting, I can still do it. And so, there's just a lot of thoughts swirling in my head. But at the root of it is this great desire to get out and to work my absolute darndest. And I think part of the reason why I'm so down or burnt out is because I'm not seeing anything from the stuff that I'm doing. But also, you have to keep iterating. That's the game, that's how it works. And I can't iterate at the speed that I want to because of other priorities. And so when you write a list of all the things you're not willing to compromise, those are the things that are going to stop you from achieving your goal. I am absolutely willing to sacrifice my job. Sleep, 100% willing to sacrifice sleep, food, and now my job is like next on the list. The job is before family obligations, real church obligations. That's how this thing is stacking, and I'm realizing it, that I'm willing to do that. So 3 months, if I can do 3 months, it could change everything. As a side note, I have stupid crypto investments from like 3 years ago, and they're all just starting to pop off now. And like, I don't really care, I'm not using anything for it. But what would be nice is if I returned to the highest high, if it's in the cycle that it was last time, then it would be really cool if those popped off, so I could have extra funds to live off of for those 3 months. And then it would kind of like soften the blow, so to speak. Yeah, so if that doesn't happen, I'm not holding my breath for anything regarding crypto. Dumbest thing ever, but whatever. I just have to make sure I get my money back, or the highest amount possible. So yeah, I'm still implementing those things that I said in my previous video, and it's just the mental game. It's like running on a long stretch and not giving up, and that's the tricky part. But I don't want to give up. Like, no part of me is like, just give up. The only thing that I'm thinking is sacrifice more. That's why you're not winning. That's what it feels like. It's like, you can do this. You have 10 years. That's the horizon. That's the time horizon you're giving yourself. And it's just a matter of doing it and sacrificing more. And what would be sweet is if 6 months from now I was doing this full time and I was looking back and I was like, it was just a sacrifice game. It just reaffirms so many things. Hormozi even talks about how it was so incredibly difficult to build the initial skill set and understanding that he could do it. Like, knowing that you could do it. Now he knows that he could do something, and he just keeps going. But it's like that initial jump is so difficult. It's so tricky. And so that's kind of where I'm at. I'm in that zone. So yeah, just trying things. I'm reluctant to try a lot of random things. I want to just like work on one single thing Like I could do affiliate reach outs, but I just want to focus on cold outreach because I want to have a handle on that and also prove to myself that I can create something from nothing. I watched a video today, 100 no's to get 1 yes. So true, except in my case it is, well, if we count, I've had 4 no's to 1 yes, but the person was already an old-time user, so they were like, yeah, sure. So it wasn't really my selling that did it. But 100 no's, 100 calls. I wish I could even get 100 calls. I would be so happy with 100 calls. That's part of the game, just trying to figure that out. So, yep, that's it for today. You warriors, we're all struggling together. I can't imagine what it would be like to live a life where you had it all and it was done. I suppose it would just move on to the next thing, but I would rather be caught in the throes of greatness in my nice house, wondering why I couldn't get to 10 million as opposed to being hungry all the time. It sounds like it would be nicer.